What Vince McMahon surprisingly told Bryan Danielson before AEW debut. Hello guys. Welcome to my channel. I am Elena. Have a nice day. For the latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Bryan Danielson has revealed what was said between him and Vince McMahon just before he made his AEW debut. In 2021, Bryan Danielson headlined WrestleMania for the second time in his career as he and Edge challenged Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship in a triple threat match. Reigns won that match, and just a matter of a couple of weeks later, Reigns defeated Danielson again, this time with the star's WWE career on the line. That did prove to be the final match of Danielson's career, as in September, he made his shock debut at the end of All Out. But just days before that debut, Vince McMahon made one last play to keep Danielson as part of WWE. Vince McMahon accepted he'd lost Bryan Danielson. Speaking to Nick Stav, Danielson revealed that WWE got wind that he had not signed his AEW deal, so Vince McMahon made one last call to try and keep him. Before McMahon conceded that he'd lost his former WWE champion when WWE found out that I hadn't signed yet, they said, "Is there anything we can do to make you..." If that AEW debut was September 5th, I called Vince in early August and let him, because I was going back and forth. I wasn't sure. I called Vince because he and I had a really good relationship. I called him in early August and let him know, okay, I've made my decision. I'm gonna do this. He had called me like one time, kind of in the meantime, and said like, hey, what if we offered you this instead? That sort of thing. I hadn't signed my contract yet. It was like a couple, maybe 5 days before the pay-per-view, he called me. And this is just what I told him. I said, sir, I've already agreed to this thing, and if I was suddenly to go back on this, I feel like you have a decent amount of respect for me. Would you still respect me if one of the things that you respect about me is that I honor my word? But it was a great conversation, and he said, damn it, you're right. Bryan Danielson now has a new permanent role in AEW as he continues to stay away from getting back in the ring. WWE star who hospitalized Roman Reigns issues warning before Raw. Bronson Reed has decided he's not waiting quietly for his moment. As WWE Raw approaches, the powerhouse who recently dismantled Roman Reigns is already stirring the pot. Fans remember what went down at Clash in Paris. Reed and Braun Breaker joined Seth Rollins in a vicious post-match attack that left Roman crumpled on the canvas. Reed didn't just stop at making a statement. He made sure Reigns left the building strapped to a stretcher. The aftermath revealed fractured ribs, forcing WWE's biggest name to step away while questions about his future began to spread. The image of the tribal chief being wheeled out of the arena felt surreal. For years, he has stood nearly untouchable at the top of the company. Reed flipping that narrative in one night has changed the conversation around Raw. Suddenly, the champion is vulnerable, and the balance of power doesn't look so secure anymore. Reed's message is loud and clear. Reed isn't keeping quiet after the damage he caused. He went online to drop a blunt warning. We run this, # the vision. Simple words, but loaded with intent. This isn't about bragging rights, it's about letting everyone in the locker room know the tide is turning. Reed has made himself the centerpiece of a movement, and he's daring anyone, including Reigns, to challenge it. The warning also forces fans to look ahead. When Roman Reigns eventually comes back, he won't just be fighting through broken ribs. He'll be stepping into a storm that Reed has already built, and that might be the toughest battle of his career. The story now isn't whether Reigns can dominate again. It's whether he can survive the fire Reed has lit under Raw. Latest update on AJ Styles' WWE retirement. Rumors spark huge Adam Pearce announcement. Wrestling fans just got hit with a big one. Adam Pearce stepped up on Raw and made an announcement that instantly set the internet buzzing. AJ Styles, in the middle of swirling talk about retirement, will step into the ring against El Grande Americano next week. For a guy who has built a legacy as one of the most reliable performers of his era, this feels loaded. Styles has been hinting that his time might be running short. He even dropped an hourglass emoji on Instagram, which isn't exactly the subtlest way of telling people the end is near. That one post sent fans into overdrive, debating if we're watching the final chapters of his run. The weight of timing. This isn't just any booking decision. WWE clearly knows what's hanging in the air. Coming off his heated storyline with Dominic Mysterio and the hard-hitting Intercontinental title match at SummerSlam, speculation has only grown louder. Some even thought SummerSlam could have been his curtain call. Instead, Pierce's announcement gives Styles another spotlight, and that makes this next match feel like more than a filler segment. The timing is telling. When you pair the retirement chatter with WWE making a point of advertising AJ against El Grande Americano, it feels like the company is letting him write his last notes on a grand stage. Fans are already treating it as must-see, not for the opponent, but for what AJ's